All right, hello everybody. Welcome on in here to our free user group webinar for the Church Windows program. My name is Jim. I'm coming to you on a rainy but warm day here in Columbus, Ohio. So welcome on in. We're going to be talking about basic attendance entry here for the next 20 minutes in our webinar. If anybody here has the regional training menus, specifically in the membership workbooks, pardon me. We'll be working from the M202 book, pages 2 through 9. And again, we'll be doing that for about the next 20 minutes or so. Before we go ahead and get started, on your screen, you've got a GoToWebinar control panel that you can use to gain access to the different features there. There is a red arrow button, usually in the upper left-hand corner there, that will allow you to minimize or maximize that control panel. If you do need to get access to that control panel for the questions section, that's just fine, of course. I will be unlikely to have time to get to any questions that you have during the presentation itself, but at the end there, I will leave the room open and I'll hit as many questions as I can. Please keep the topic specifically to what we're discussing here today, the basic attendance entry in the membership module. Right, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and start taking a look at that. I'm going to go ahead and open up the membership module. We'll be working from here. There are two ways in which to record attendance here in Church Windows. But first, we open up our attendance button here. We click on our attendance entry link right here. That's how we get to our screen eventually, which we see here. Okay, so as I was saying, there are two different ways in which you can enter attendance into Church Windows. You can record what's called persons present only. Basically, that's if a count is made of the total number of people in attendance at any worship service or group meeting. When you use this, only the count is entered. Individual names, the actual people who are there and their names is not going to be recorded in Church Windows. Just totals will be entered into the system. Second way then is the other way, attendance by name. A roster will be taken of those present and it will be recorded in the attendance module. So that's like if you have like a sign-in sheet or something along those lines and you know the folks who were there, you can record them in there, the system there by name. So we're going to talk about both of those. Let's start by talking about the persons present only. So here is our attendance entry window here. On the drop-down list where it says events and groups classes, if I click on my down arrow here, this is going to be a list of everything that we can record attendance for in our system. All of our events, all of our groups and classes that are marked to permit having attendance recorded. You can filter all of the stuff that's on that drop-down list in a couple of ways. If I were to, in the upper left-hand corner, uncheck where it says groups and classes, now when I click on my down arrow, it's only going to display my events. And again, events are things that are open to everyone to attend. Groups and classes are limited to a roster of folks who are participating in that particular group or class. But if I do check groups and classes, next to this where it says department and category here, we had those renamed, you can limit it to any of the categories that you've set up. So if I limit this to classes and I click on my down arrow, now I'm only looking at my classes on here. Okay, so for our example here, I'm going to go ahead and let's go take a look at our Sunday AM worship event. Next thing you need to do is come over here to the date section on the right side. If you click on the down arrow right there, it gives you a calendar that you can click on a particular date that you're using, or you can type. I can actually click in here, and I'm able to type that 03. It goes month, day, goes month, day, and then year. What time was this entered in here? Just got a message that we do not have audio. Everything on my end looks correct. Hope we're okay here. The dates are going to go, okay, good. So the dates are going to go month, then day, then year. So you can simply type in there as well. Okay, great. So what you do from here, now there's two different places where you can record this just by head count only. There's the basic persons present and amount collected on here. And then there's another one, which is this details button right here that gives you a little more information that you can get at there. If you want to just do the basics, you can say that like 35 people showed up. We collected $410. Okay. If you can simply record it in that manner. Anytime you're now, one of the tricky things here that goes on with this attendance entry window, you'll notice if you look around this window, there's no save button anywhere. So as you enter this information into the system, it is saving as you are going. Then when you're done, you just close this window by clicking on the X in the upper right hand corner and it records it. So just as I type this, it's recording it into the system and there's no need to save it. The second place you can do this is by clicking on that details button, and it takes you to the attendance detail window. Notice here at the bottom, it shows the total that I entered and the amount I collected is entered here at the bottom. So we need to make these things add up to that if we're going to do it in that order. However, if I just wanted to use this, I probably would want to leave these blank, and then I can record it from scratch there. So now we don't have those totals that we have to meet at the bottom here. So from here you can record the number of folks from your membership module. If you know this and you don't wish to record folks by name, you can filter this in this manner. So 33 folks here, 2 kids were there, whatever. $410 taken in from your members. You click your compute present, it updates your total at the bottom. Click your compute collected, it totals at the bottom. So if you've got this information available and you want a little bit more demographic information about the folks that you saw at the service, you can do that there. Notice when we click OK, it fills in that information as well for persons present and amount collected. Okay. So the second way in which you can record attendance is by name. And that's where this whole big grid down here at the bottom of the screen comes in, where we can record actual individual folks who you have recorded in your membership module and list in the database that they have attended a service or an event. I'm going to go ahead and record a different attendance here. I'm going to go back to groups and classes. Let's say I want to go do my not enough folks in there. Let's do our actually, let's do a committee. It's not going to be, I know there's more folks in our finance committee here. Never mind. I'm batting 1,000 on these. Sorry about that. Let's go back here. Okay, so when you do a group or class, you do see in the grid below, you only see the folks who are participating in that group or class. The way in which you can record that somebody in particular was there, you can actually just use your mouse and click. So if Jen were present, you can simply put a check mark in there, and then you record this. Rob was not there, but we knew why. There's also going to be a couple of other things that can be set up outside of this screen for other things to keep track of for a particular group or class. So our A code here, if I hover my mouse over it, a little pop-up shows up. This is that they participated well here, that they brought a friend, that they studied their lessons ahead of time. So you can also record those types of things on here if they're set up for that particular group or class. And that is just using your mouse to go through and just click on those check boxes there. The other way you can do this is by using the search box, this little box right up here, this type 2 search thing here. That's a search box that you can use. So I'm actually going to go and let's go back to our events, because that's going to be more commonly used with events. Let's do our evening worship. This is a really long list of names to scroll through in order to come through and individually check their names here. So you can click in this box and do searches. Let's say the Oliver family was here. Okay, there's all the folks with that name. You can now, you don't even have to use your mouse at all here. I can use my arrow keys on my keyboard, find the name I'm looking for, and press the enter key on my keyboard. It takes me directly to that person's name and automatically marks them as present. So I didn't click my mouse with that. It just came through there and marked them as present. Again, I don't have to use my mouse. I can just use my arrow keys on my keyboard and my enter key. Right. Okay. It does automatically check their names when you select them. I do want to point out one other thing that you can do here. Let's say you do know that the entire family was there. If I have Jack's name highlighted and there's some other members of his family on here, it's acting strangely. You do. Oh, I sorted it by present. That's what I did. Okay. And then it will also allow you to kind of go through and search for other folks here. Again, when you hit your enter key, it takes you directly to that person's name and it marks them as present automatically. And you can also record folks as having taken communion if that is something that you do track in church window for your events. Couple things I want to point out as you're going through and you are recording names into your attendance here. You will see here at the top of your screen the potential attendees, how many folks could be there and how many folks are actually present. So as you go down your list and you're recording these folks here in your database, you'll see that number change. So if I come down here, I select Wendy Miller, you'll see that now we've got 4 people present, etc. on here. Okay. There is also a comments tab here along the top. So you can record in the case of a meeting, like if it's a committee meeting, you can record your general meeting notes here. If it's a Sunday school class, you can record lessons studied here. If there's attendance factors, something was going on, you can record that on here. This is all reportable as well in the database. If we only had 7 people show up, well, it was Super Bowl Sunday, for example. You know, just something that would have affected that. Okay. Alrighty. Sometimes you will be going through this list and you'll type their name here under person. And you'll start typing their name in there and you will not see them on the screen here. You do have the ability to add folks to either the member database or the visitor database right here from this screen. by using this little plus arrow button right here next to where it says person. This little button, tiny little button right there, little green plus. You see that button throughout the Church Windows program, and it's always to add something. So when you click on your add button here, you get a little drop down menu where you can either add a member or add a visitor. Let's go ahead and say somebody attended, signed in to the pew pad that we had up there. We haven't seen them before, but we want to record their attendance. Let's add them to our visitor file. We're going to create a new family for these folks. You would also have the ability to go to an existing family if it's a member of a household that you didn't have recorded in your system already for some reason. But then it allows you to record that information in here. Come on, fingers. So you just record all of the appropriate information. Fill in their individual information on the right side. It's their household information on the left, their individual information on the right. Clicking OK adds them to your database. It's giving us a little warning message about this field called directory report order, which is used for a lot of reports in the membership module. It's not a required field, it's just helpful to use it. So that's what that pop-up warning is about. I'll go ahead and add that. When you click OK, it adds that individual to your database. You will now see it on your list. The bracket V that you see after the name here tells us that they are in the visitor side of your membership database rather, and you'll see them marked as present by default on here. All right, and again, now I just wanted to show you this. So we see here now we've got our 12 folks present here. If I just close out of here, this is the proof that I was talking about. There's no save button that you are forced to use on there. If I were to go back into attendance again and I go back to that same event and that same day, you'll see the same information that we were just recording there. So there's the 12 folks that we already had present the first time we were on. So there's the folks that we had previously marked as being present in there. All right. That is all the information I've got for you folks. Just a real quick webinar about the basics of attendance entry. That's how it is done. So thank you guys so much for joining me here today. Feel free to go ahead and click on the X in the upper right hand corner of your GoToWebinar control panel. If you are all set to go for the rest of your day here, I will leave the room open for a little bit for any specific questions that you guys might have. So outside of that, thanks for joining me, everybody.